and to make also other questions. So I think that if there aren't any other question or points, Melissa, you can continue to interact by chat in any case, but I think let's move to the next session that I think it's again, very connected in continuity with the previous one, because we were talking about feelings, we were talking about not just the rational parts of our mind. And for that, I think that which is the best expression on of the inner world rather than arts. And this is the session related properly to Art4Climate. And with that, I'll give the floor to Miroslav Polzer, that is the founder and CEO of Glocha, but also main promoter of this fantastic initiative that also I'm very glad to collaborate with, that is Digital Art for Climate. So Miro, the floor to you.
Thank you very much, Domenico. Good evening, everyone. Greetings from Klagenfurt in the south of Austria, near Italy, near Milan. And the topic of my today's presentation is the initiative Digital Art for Climate. And I'm delighted to see among the participants of the Zoom call also Exquisite workers, Anna Dart, who is our creative director, and already now inviting her to join also as a co-moderator at a certain point this event. Hi, Anna. And I tried to share the screen, Domenico, but it was not possible. And Anna, you are muted.
You can go. You can go now. Try.
Okay.
Let's double check. Can you hear me?
Yes, now it's fine.
All right, wonderful.
Happy to have you with us. So I will make a general introduction about the logic of the initiative, and then perhaps, Anna, if you would like to go through also through the presentation that we've had for the Milan event, that would be perhaps appreciated if time permits. So, youth climate action empowerment with digital art for climate. So the basic idea of the Climate Social Forum, as I understand it, is to get people engaged, bringing initiatives together with the vision that everyone gets engaged and empowered for climate action. And with the International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, a civil society organization based in Klagenfurt in Austria, and our sister organization, Glocha, Global Challenges Foundation, New York, we are convinced that we can build a global community with a focus on young people, but all ages, all nations, all languages, all creeds, who are effectively responding to the climate crisis with the three pillars of culture, technology, and organizational innovation. And with this, I'm going to present our initiative. So this Digital Art for Climate initiative is a multi-stakeholder partnership initiative which uses blockchain technology, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, to turn artwork into digital assets which can be collected and traded, thus enabling new forms of resource mobilization in support of sustainable development goals, the United Nations Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development implementation in general, and action for climate empowerment in particular. And here you have on the screen also a screenshot from our pre-launch event, which we've had in Milan on the 4th of June, together with Domenico and also with Christina Lucrezia Conner from Cointelegraph, who was our media partner, and Doug Reagan from UN Habitat Youth Program. And the whole event was also placed in the context of the All for Climate Italian co-presidency to the UN Climate Conference COP26 and the 2021 International Year for Creative Economy for Sustainable Development. So the aims of these initiatives are, on the one hand, to use this transformative power of art to inspire more ambitious climate action, and also to provide creators, a creative community of all ages and backgrounds, a voice to communicate to the global audience their views on environmental issues, and how art can inspire change to the better. And the other aim of the initiative is creating new resource mobilization mechanisms in support of global and local youth climate action empowerment with the power of blockchain technology and NFTs. And this initiative is a spin-off initiative of the Action for Climate Empowerment Innovation Program, ACE-AT, that our organization, my organization, is working on together with the Austrian Ministry for Climate Action, the UN Climate Change Secretariat, ECOS, which is the education, communication, and outreach stakeholder community, and within the UNFCCC process, and ICLE, which is the local governments and municipal authorities network within the UNFCCC process. And this ACE program is within the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the program where governments are reaching out to non-state actors and building the tools and the spaces for non-state actors to contribute to the fight against climate. And this is everything in the making, because the UN system in general is providing too few opportunities for people, or not enough recognition and participation opportunities. And at the next climate change conference in Glasgow in 2 weeks, there will be discussed and adopted decision about the future of ACE. And with our work, we want to inspire new thinking and a new organizational setup and new resource mobilization for Action for Climate Empowerment. Within this project, we have the task to look at a feasibility study and a business plan for a global non-state actors support structure and resource mobilization, innovation, and digital platforms. And now back to the Digital Art for Climate initiative and its technological pillar. It's blockchain-based digital assets, digital collectibles. And here, for those who are not so knowledgeable about this, I would suggest to start as a first step looking at Wikipedia. So the article there says an NFT is a unit of data stored on a digital ledger called a blockchain that certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. NFTs can be used to represent items such as photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. And the access to a copy of the original file, however, is not restricted to the buyer of the NFT. It's also important to distinguish regarding this ownership of the NFT and a separate copyright regime. So that's important to bear in mind. And our vision now with Digital Art for Climate is that we create a mechanism that artists contribute to these efforts. They contribute their artwork to our platform, at which then if it's conventional art, it's turned into an NFT, or they can also send the NFT as such. And then there are auctions or fixed price sales. And then the revenues of these sales of this artwork can then be shared. The artist can claim between 0 and 40% of the sales value, and then another between 40 and 80%, depending on how much the artist has claimed for him or herself, can then be channeled into direct in projects that the artists and the buyer collectively want to see implemented. And then 20% are going for building the global technological and institutional infrastructure for action for climate empowerment in the context of the multi-stakeholder partnership blockchain that already Domenico has mentioned at the beginning. So this is a vision of a marketplace. It is takes a lot of technological development and investment to build this. So we have now a more simplified version of the competition and of the monetization of the artwork, and perhaps important background information, because otherwise people would say, who would buy such a digital certificate? Actually, it works, and our partners in the initiative, Open Earth Foundation and Social Alpha Foundation, they have had a carbon drop in March this year with 6 artworks from high-profile artists, which have been sold for $6.6 million US. And with this money, then Open Earth Foundation is now building a global climate action accounting and reporting mechanism system. And so we then decided to create a more systemic solution, and also based on a blockchain ecosystem, Polkadot and Kusama, which has a significantly lower environmental footprint, or the 1/1,000,000th of the carbon footprint of these first and second generation blockchains. And so this is the vision, that really it will be an automated mechanism which will generate resources for the participating artists and for the local and global communities' climate action. The partners are my organizations, IAI and Blockchain. Unique Network NFT platform is our technology partner. Hubs in Italy, Domenico helped to organize a hackathon for the user interface and user experience, and our coordinator for activities in Milan and in Italy in general. Here should be the Exquisite workers line also. I don't know how it disappeared, but as I mentioned already in the beginning, Anna is our creative director and a very important pillar of our work. And UN Habitat Youth Program is somehow our network partner. Through this UN Habitat Youth Program, we are reaching youth, young artists around the world. For instance, they have created an artwork, a mural in one of the slums in Nairobi, which is being now and has been entered into the competition. And they're also the beneficiaries of our resource mobilization with the World Environment Situation Room. And this is the beautiful art that Anna and her colleague Julia from Exquisite Workers have done. We've had launch of the Digital Art4Climate competition on the 12th of August. And now the timeline is that, and we've had also an entertainment show presenting this initiative in Milan on the 28th of September. And we are going with this initiative to be presented at the Climate Change Conference COP26 in Glasgow. We have Action for Climate Empowerment reception at the UNFCCC pavilion on the 5th of November, where the exhibit will, the Digital Art4Climate COP26 collection will be presented, and there will be public voting, and on the 11th of November there will be also then the announcement of the winners of the competition, and there will be also some high-profile participating high-profile artists like Refik Anadol, really very special partner of our event, of our initiative, will be presented in the press conference, and probably also on the 12th TEDx Glotcha event, where there will be more engagement and more entertainment around these topics. And on 5th of June, World Environment Day 2022, we will have an auction of the Digital Art4Climate COP26 collection, and also the launch of the Digital Art4Climate marketplace. And there we will also, because the question is always, if you have this resource mobilization, how will you distribute the money? And for this, we are building now also Globcha United Citizens Organization for Action for Climate Empowerment based on blockchain technology for participatory, transparent, and accountable distribution of these resources. And based on blockchain technology, it will be registered as a quasi-international organization, either in Austria or in Switzerland. This is still to be decided. And the important element is of the initiative that this is just the beginning. Digital Art for Climate should somehow show people that making these digital collections is fun, and that we can build our individual climate action legacy based on digital collectibles. And for this, we are developing a Globcha Good Life app. And we have prepared or minted our first NFT, which is somehow the first item on this collection that everybody should have. It was our Digital Art for Climate Milan Global Angel NFT based on an artwork of Theophilos from Lesbos Island and Roger House from Exquisite Workers. And you can visit our digitalartforclimate.space homepage, and the Milan event there. You can still claim your free NFT and start your individual climate action dashboard app collection. And so that's the journey has begun. Claim your free Digital Art for Climate NFT, and the next free NFT will be available at the COP26 based on an artwork of Refik Anadol, and variations of the artwork will also be available as fundraiser NFTs. And here are my contact details, and I would suggest that Anna adds also some information about the competition and the themes and what we have so far on submission and this kind, if that's okay.
Of course. Thank you, Miroslav. Let me share my screen. Just a second.
Works. Yes, perfect. Super.
Good. All right. Just a second.
I have to apologize myself. I need to run because my wife is organizing an event which I have to participate. It's I will watch the presentations later on Facebook and YouTube, the recorded ones, I promise. And thanks everyone, and wishing you an inspiring event.
Thank you to you, and no worries. We're very glad to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay, I'm Anna. I'm very excited to be here. I hope to give you good energy in that this little short period of time that I can share with you our art competition. You will enjoy it a lot. I will share some art with you, and I hope I can inspire you to take some action. I am an artist myself. I'm also a pretty active supporter of female empowerment initiatives, social impact initiatives, and can you see me? No.
No, your avatar, no.
Presentation is on.
The share straight.
In both design-a-thon.
Okay. Well, let's leave it like this because it might take me several minutes to check it out. Yeah. So I'm a very active supporter of social impact initiatives, female empowerment initiative, and also I'm ICO member, which is international community of museum professionals. I spend a lot of time of my life in the museums, and I really find a lot of inspiration in the culture. I'm very much connected with Gaudi's artwork. I'm based in Barcelona currently, and so I joined the project of Exquisite Workers more than a year ago. Exquisite Workers is a groundbreaking community of artists, which is growing very fast, and we like to contribute to global projects which can bring some value, which can bring some good and beauty. And later on, I'll explain you what kind of game we play with our artists. But for now, I'm very pleased to introduce Digital Art4Climate art competition. To start with, I should say that we became the ambassadors
in both Designathon and
the ambassadors of Digital Art4Climate. And this initiative, as Miroslav explained, it has two main parts. The first one is to run the Designathon, which was held with the help of Domenico and some other beautiful contributors, when we inspired the software developers, the UI UX designers, to create some base as a fundament for the future marketplace, where the artworks related to our climate change will be collected. So because it takes more time, so that was the first step that we undertook. On the other hand, we started the art competition. Okay, you know that the United Nations announced 2021 as a year for creative economy, to recognize the value of creativity as a power source for climate change action. And so we hope that with this art competition that is currently running and it's finishing in 10 days, we can inspire to everyone, people from different backgrounds and different ages, to undertake little climate change action by bringing their creativity and beauty. Because you can do many things. You can shop wisely, you can use long-lasting light bulbs, you can reduce the energy use, but you can also make a beautiful painting related to the Mother Earth, or you can write a song, or you can dance, right, for the nature. I would like you to meet my friend, who is Digital Addict, who is here really trying to start the conversation. This is him. I'll give him a word.
Participants will be asked to come up with ideas that address global and, most importantly, community-based challenges. This is because thoughts and ideas or solutions from communities can be used to help other communities across the globe with similar issues. No idea or message is too big or too small. I'll be going into more detail about the two activities later, but if you want to check the latest updates and information, you can check out digitalartforclimate.space. The people behind the initiative is the youth-focused nonprofit IAAI, or the International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges. They are a UN-accredited civil society organization based in Austria. They have set up an ecosystem called the Global Challenges Action Network, or GLOCHA, which is where this initiative was born. If you want to find out more about the people behind Digital Art4Climate, you can visit glocha.org. Now, bringing this initiative to life is no small feat. To help with this, they have help from a wide range of partners. To keep this video at a reasonable length, I'll touch on a few key partners. The first is UN Habitat. What they do is they seek to enhance national and city-level decision makers' understanding of the challenges facing urban youth, as well as the opportunities that might arise when dealing with those challenges. Their programs assist youth to lead healthy and productive lives and become leaders in their communities. You can find out more about the good work they're doing at unhabitat.org. The second partner is the Social Alpha Foundation. They are a nonprofit organization that focuses on supporting blockchain education, outreach, and projects in order to empower communities utilizing blockchain technology for social good. They have previously worked with Nifty Gateway and many well-known crypto artists such as Beeple to raise $6.66 million at auction. The funds were used in order to support the Open Earth Foundation. If you want to know more about all the great work they have been doing, you can find them at carbondrop.art and socialalphafoundation.org. The tech partner is the Unique Network. They are the NFT chain for Kusama and Polkadot. If you're into the nitty-gritty of the crypto tech stuff, you can find them at unique.network. And finally, Exquisite Workers is the creative partner. What they do is help introduce established and emerging digital artists like me to the world of crypto. This is done by getting artists to collaborate on a long digital art piece called an exquisite corpse, or in its native French name, cadavre exquis. Each piece is assembled to form a long living art piece. This method of expression was inspired by a creative game invented during the 20th century art movement, Surrealism. In the short time they've been around, they've been featured on the front page of OpenSea. They've asked me to help them with this video as I'm an artist who shares their mission of introducing the opportunities of crypto and tech to other artists. I do this by making videos, making art, experimenting with tech like this avatar I use, and sharing what I learn when I get time off from babysitting. If you're interested in learning more about Exquisite Workers, you can find out more about them at exquisiteworkers.com. If you want to check out my art videos, you can find me on YouTube as Digital Addict Design. If you want to look at my art, you can visit my Try Showtime. But wait, you probably read or heard that NFTs and cryptocurrencies are not exactly that great for the environment. This has been blamed on current early versions of the tech that have high energy demands, which negatively contribute to carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. While that is somewhat true, we shouldn't look at this as either black or white. In reality, there are many nuances about the tech that fall in the gray. Touching on that topic, blockchain technology, the foundation of NFTs and cryptocurrencies, is still in its infancy. If I were to use the analogy of a motor engine, the early blockchains, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, are much like engines of the early 20th century. They emit a lot of toxic fumes, use up fuel inefficiently, and have low horsepower. Today, newer engines emit much less fumes and are much more efficient and have higher horsepower. Most importantly, our current society could not have benefited if it were not for those early engines. Now, this isn't to say we should ignore the negative environmental impact that new technologies create. But as a society, we should responsibly evolve the technology in a healthy and sustainable way. The Digital Art4Climate initiative is one step in the right direction. And with the help of their tech partner, the Unique Network, the solution that participants will be working on will be using a newer technology, a proof-of-stake solution based on the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. It has many sustainability features already built in, resulting in a carbon footprint that is 1 million times smaller than proof-of-work systems that older blockchain generations run. Now, this sounds all well and good, but maybe you don't know much about how the tech works. Let me help you with that with a little crash course. Blockchain tech is a series of decentralized computers that are not owned by a single individual or entity. They authenticate transactions and share that data with others in the blockchain to verify its authenticity. The most popular type of transaction is when digital currency is transferred between individuals through crypto wallets. NFTs are a different type of transaction. I'm not going to go into the details because I'm sure it's been talked about by many more people. But to put it simply, it is a digital title or deed to a digital asset. When that asset is transferred from one person to another, that asset now belongs to someone else and is verified by the blockchain. If I were to use a real-world analogy, think of NFTs like a title or deed to land. Technically, anybody can access any land, but society and governments have a system in place who says who owns what land and who has access to it. The blockchain is what governs the rules behind NFTs. Another benefit that is unlike most real-world items of value, when an asset is transferred to a new owner, the one who created the NFT could get a percentage of the new value of that asset. In the most well-known case, artists, they would be able to sell their art and can continue to get royalties for every sale of their art that could happen in the future. This part is unprecedented, as when compared to traditional art sales, artists don't often get any of those royalties. This is what makes NFTs so revolutionary to many artists. As I've said, Crypto tech, specifically NFTs and crypto art, is pretty much in its infancy today in 2021. However, in the short time it has existed, the technology has made millionaires of some artists and given others income that they could never have imagined before. As an
All right. Thank you so much, Digital Addict, for this beautiful insights into digital art for climate. And now my turn to explain you about the art competition. The art competition is the contest with the main theme subject, which is humanity challenged by climate change, in order to reimagine the impact creators can have on the world. In terms of visual storytelling, we're envisioning 3 sub-themes, but these are just a few ideas, and it should no way limit the artists into how the theme will be represented. But basically, you see here the storm. We're speaking about uncertainties and fears, what we just spoke about on the panel, right? This, how we feel insecure about the future, how we feel vulnerable, how we feel anxious in this rapidly changing world, and understanding the threat of climate crisis. And heaven, we're searching for solidarity, we're searching for taking an action together and supporting each other in this beautiful journey. And the angel is individual global citizen as a center of the value and the cultural shift towards empathy, building individual climate action legacy. In art competition, we aim to identify the artworks, 25 artworks for Digital Art for Climate COP26 collection, which will be showcased, as Miro explained, in Glasgow on some digital screen in the conference in November, and on the 11th of November. And from all these submissions that we are receiving until the deadline, which is 28th of October, we're gonna choose the works which will be on our webpage, on the gallery, online gallery, and they will be available for the public voting in order for everyone to decide who will get the awards on this art competition. And the total of awards and prizes, 3,000 euros, and there will be some categories, and these prizes will go to 4 winners, and we're really excited to meet them very soon. And then they will be invited, all the participants will be invited to join the marketplace that our designers, the Designathon participants are creating and will be doing until next summer. And those who win the art competition, they automatically enter NFT auction. Okay. For us and for everyone, this is a great opportunity, and most of all for the artists to enter the historical COP26 collection. And the work will be minted as NFT and included in different forms of source mobilization for climate action empowerment initiatives for Digital Art for Climate organizers. We are speaking about something really exciting, because entering the NFT space, it requires courage and knowledge. And imagine that your work, okay, it can be placed in the gallery, in the museum, but when it comes to the blockchain, I think that it's forever, it's registered, and you can follow, you can trace the work when it comes from one owner collector to another. So it's a very long-lasting vision on the art. And the timelines of the art competition, we started the competition in August, we're finishing 28th of October, and the public voting will start just in several days after the art competition will end. And in here, I'm sorry, 11th of November, there will be the winners celebration. When it comes to the statistics of the Digital Art4Climate initiative, we search for expressing deep meanings, and in order for us to, this is our logo, and I would like to read what Irina Karagayar from Unique Network shares with us, her vision on the project. We're definitely we have this opportunity to have this transformational power of art and blockchain together. And well, you can read this on your own. She claims that this historical moment, and by identifying our social priorities, we can take advantage of this historical opportunity, merging art and technology to build the world we always dreamt of. And this is our digital Art4Climate angel. It's actually a very beautiful story. In order to create this, another symbol, the first one is our logo, but this is a very important for us symbol. Miroslav invited the artist, who is from Central Africa. He was born in 1968, and he is one of the most talented jewelry artists and very in the field of quality jewelry. And he created this jewelry representing two angels, who raise their hands to unite and within the center of the planet Earth. And Miroslav also invited the artist Roger House to bring this extraordinary work, digital artwork, and create, you see this blending both traditional jewelry art and digital art together. Theophilus Manzouris, he joined us during the Milan youth event. It was beautiful to meet him. And Roger House, and here I would just like to say that he's the founder of Exquisite Workers artistic community. He is one of the most talented artists that I ever known in my life. He is the one who created this piece of different organic layers which interact, which make this work, which is very large, to have this constant movement. And whenever you discover these details, it seems that it's never ending. You're always finding something new, and it makes reference to the nature, to the movement, to the breathing, to the power, to solidarity. And one of the very interesting facts about Roger House, because I know his personal, I can speak about his work for a long time. He studied the same table where Picasso and Joan Miró studied. He attended art classes in La Loggia School Academy in Barcelona, which is very known for having these great maestros. And it's a pleasure that he introduces this work as a part of this symbol of the global angel. And from my side, I would like to make reference, my point of view on this initiative Digital Art4Climate is that we're here to really undertake the bold action. We shouldn't be timid. We should get active, definitely not anxious. We should think and plan on the scale of millennia. It might sound very kind of big words, but my vision of everyday life is that each and every action, small action, has a lot of weight, and in a sense that if we take these steps consciously, we can move in a lighter way, and we can be proud of ourselves, and we can understand that when we act together, it's much more than just the sum of the parts. And with this, you see that we have in here 3 artworks of our artists. Our community is 572 artists from 50 countries. So think that these artists, without knowing, they created the artworks related to the nature. And our project, let me see if I can show you the slide. This is one of the screens of how many artworks were created since April 2020. As Digital Addict explained you, we play an Exquisite Corpse game. Just a little insight on this game. You know that 100 years back, the surrealists, they took a piece of paper, they folded to conceal the contribution, and then they passed to the next player. So imagine you have at least a sheet of paper where you have the feet drawn by one artist, the corpse by another artist, and then the head by someone else. You can try it out. It's actually very fun. And not only the artists did it, but the writers as well. When someone started the story, then someone else continued. And so Roger House, my friend, and he founded Exquisite Workers in order to play this game online during the pandemic. The intention was super beautiful. He wanted his friends to thrive during the pandemic. Just keep creating, keep doing, keep being positive, keep being optimistic, and feeling that you are not alone. And so the idea was to bring this game on Instagram first. Each of the pieces of grid was one, you see in here, each of the pieces of grid was done by one of the artists, and they were united by the template. Let me come back here. And so you see, they're united with a color palette. And so when you feed them together, you see that there is an extraordinary blend of images, of universes, because each of this is a universe of some artists who has their own fears and aspirations and dreams and goals and their personal universes. So that was a way to bring all this in one place. And the illustrations were posted on a daily basis, 3 illustrations per day. And so this Exquisite Corpse was growing, and then we made this jump into the leap into the NFT space. For those who are not aware of what NFT space is, of course, it took us time also to learn what it is. But I must say that it's very exciting to know that in this case, digital art can be collected. So we started to share the art not only online, but also on blockchain. And we were featured in some marketplace and people collected it. And the artists, they were extraordinarily pleased that the work was sold and they could pay the rent and they could express themselves again about ecology, about the planet Earth, about the nature in a very beautiful way. And they had audience who listened to them, who wanted to know their voice. Let me see if I have more. Yeah, and this is the slide which shows how this game was played back at the beginning of the 20th century, right? You see this sheet of paper, and then eventually these pieces of paper finished being in the global museums around the world. You see like MoMA. And now we're very, very proud that we have this chance to bring this game to life and also contribute to Digital Art4Climate art competition. I'm very pleased that the artists agreed to share with us this art, and in each slide you have some artworks which are really fun. You can never expect what the artwork will be published next, and so it's absolute surprise for everyone. And the artists also never know the position in the Exquisite Corpse of their work. So you see how beautiful it is. So finishing my conversation, I want you to, I will invite you to go to our website. Let me see if I can also share it with you so you can know where to go. Here we go. Let me see here. This is our webpage. Let's say again, it's Digital Art4Climate 4, we write with number, .space, okay, Digital Art4Climate .space. And so in here you have a little bit of information about Designathon. Designathon, this word comes from design and marathon. Okay, it's when you're in a very fast way, you brainstorm, create some ideas, and run some activities. And you have the art competition. So if you go here, you discover a little bit more of beautiful art, just to feel inspired, to enjoy the beauty. And here the partners. This is Domenico representing Hubzin. This is the video of digital art, digital addict, my friend. A little bit of information. on the art competition. If you click on, well, of course, down here you can find frequently asked questions. You're very welcome to learn more. Okay, and then when you click here, open, you go to the page of the Digital Art4Climate art competition. And here I have a little bit more of information. Again, if you have forgotten the topics, what is required, you can always find in here the creation process, how to apply. Okay, all the steps are here. You can find them, the artwork requirements. We are searching for traditional and digital artworks. It can be any medium. It can be motion, handmade. We just ask to digitalize it and apply online. Okay, and so if you click, let me see, and here submission, look, you go to submissions, very easy. You answer these questions, you write your email, you write your name, your surname, where you were born. If you're less than 18 years old, you can write the name of your representative. It can be your parents, it can be your friends, it can be your older sister, brother, and then a little bit more of information, and then you add the link, Google Drive link, which please make it shareable. It's very important. It should be shareable in order for us to receive your beautiful artwork. And of course, you can find us on Instagram, again, Digital Art4Climate, very easy to find us. You can make share with us your questions, some doubts you have. You can also reach us out finding Exquisite workers. We are one of the partners of this project, but you can also open the Discord, and Discord will lead you to unique networks. So if you want to know more about blockchain technology, about Kusama Polkadot networks, go ahead, do not hesitate. Irina and the team will gladly help you with your questions. Okay, this is our hashtag. And yeah, I think in here I will, oh yeah, sorry, one more thing. If you go in here, land youth events, you can claim your beautiful NFT, which is free NFT, global ad angel in the form of free NFT. Okay, and this will be your first NFT, might be, or not the first one, and we hope you will enjoy it. It will be a beautiful memory of this event, of you being part of the project. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anna Worken, and for sharing the competition. Thanks again. And maybe now let's run to the other speakers. So Stefania, if you can go presenting your initiative, and then we can go with Andrea.
Yes. Thank you so much for the invitation, Domenico, and that was really very interested. That was very interesting, both presentation from Miro and especially the last one. I was a little bit, puzzled, but also enchanted looking at the avatar character that really made me think on how we have been changing the way that we present actions, to each other lately, because somehow virtual has become the common business. The reason why Domenico invited me to present activities and actions which are related to art is that I have been working for a long time in the international cooperation, focusing on the environment, and I used to work for the Italian Ministry of the Environment, and for a very long time. And after many years that I've been traveling around and working throughout countries and continents, and that I've been witnessing, experiencing, and attending and participating you know, in congresses and UN processes on climate change and biodiversity, I realized that as much as such institutional frameworks are important to be coming up to official and legal agreements, nevertheless, human beings are much more articulated and complex than laws and agreements and written papers, and that's the reason why the idea of establishing and developing a project that would just include art came to my mind, and then I just made it in a way that it would be a platform. It's when I thought of it, it was very many years ago, 2015, and at that very time there were not that many you know, platforms nor thank you, Domenico, nor that many ideas of using art as a channel and vehicle to be conveying the message of you know, transformation and all kind of meaningful content like environmental and social causes and missions, and that's when I thought of coming up with hEarth, which, as you see, has an initial age and a final age, and it just comprises the three words, which is heart, earth, and art. So the idea is to place art at the heart of the earth, and the very you know, core of the concept of hEarth stays in and lies in the idea that we always think and we always talk about environmental protection, but I think that it's a very you know, anthropogenic pattern and frame and stance that we have, because somehow we should be living in a world where the environment wouldn't need any protection, in a world where human beings are connected naturally to the environment, in a world in which human beings realize that we are the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, and the water that we drink. And that's when I started to be involving different stakeholders and partners, and I just developed the eco chapters themselves, which were like circular, you know, circular hubs somehow, starting from health, because it's something that sometimes we just undervalue, but it's really the beginning of everything. I mean, first we have to have clear mental health and physical health that allows us to be constructing and building all what is behind and around us. So when I'm talking about health, I mean that very often we don't consider the fact that human beings are born in families, and then they are fed by societies and cultures, and it's in fact it's very important, the environment where kids are, you know, brought up, because that really conditions the way how they will be thinking when they are grown up adults, and that's the mental health, you know, having a kind of healthy mental health, and then there is also the physical health, which is very much to do with for example, the food that we eat. Therefore, it's associated to, for example, agricultural, you know, patterns and agricultural farming, like local farming, and then revisiting all the chain of, you know, the industry chain, and then reconsidering the way how we grow our food, and we just transport it and we transport it. That's so. I when I was thinking about the platform, I thought that the, you know, we should have been starting from health and then continuing to the economy, as we have set up the economy in such a way that we abuse and exploit the environment for speculative reasons somehow. And on the contrary, we should be really reconsidering a different economy, which is most likely based, and that's something that right now is very fashionable, but I think it's in fact very valuable, which is exactly the way how indigenous communities, used to set up their own way of living, meaning that they have a relationship with the environment which is beneficial on like mutually somehow. And what is beautiful is that nowadays finally there have been cases in which natural places like the river, there is a river in New Zealand which has been granted legal entity, and something has happened as well on a lake in the US, meaning that to a certain extent, I mean, that in fact, natural places are not belonging to us, but they have their own identity and their own legal frame and legal form. So again, it's health, it's economy, it's jobs, because we think that we have to get a job and then sometimes it happens that the job that we have not necessarily reflects, the reality that is around us. So maybe we should be rethinking the way how jobs are set up, and maybe like each of us can come up with a job which does not necessarily fall into the normal, the normal pattern of, but we might be rethinking the way how we interact and earn money and what we do, which maybe should have a social, a social return as well, which can be shared, because in fact we live in a society which is very individualistic and like money driven, but maybe we might be considering a new way of employment that is shared among individuals, and that takes us to the education, because again, the way how we are taught, the way how we are raised is very much didactic. Like we are at school, we go at school when we are very when you're still kids, and then we learn what it's in the books. But if you think about, for example, the books on economy, those very texts date back the early century, which is a little bit outdated. What I mean is that very often we just miss, and the history or whatever is been conveyed to us is not necessarily the reality which is surround us, and not necessarily what we are taught enable us or give us the instruments and the tools to be acting in the world around us. So it's the idea of the Earth platform is just to be realizing that we live in a kind of dysfunctional, world, and that we are pushed to this economic growth at any cost, whereas we should be really creating a movement which should be inclusive and mindful, and that should be based on anticipatory, preventive, and long-term approaches. And why art is important? Because art is the means that somehow arouses in us the sense of beauty, and it touches us. It's because I after so many years that I've been in these international processes, I came to realize that as human beings, we really act when we feel the urgency, but not rationally, but emotionally. And that's why I think that art is a very powerful instrument. And if we think about it, even though there are wars all over the places, like for example the war in Syria. When Palmyra was sacked and looted, the international community of intellectuals and artists and has just teamed up, to be saving the the beautiful art elements of Palmyra, because in itself art is something which is like universal, and that's why it's a very powerful catalyzer that can just pull together individuals and moving them in the right direction, in a common direction. I was just listening to the previous speakers, and they were talking about acting together and then doing together, and we know that rationally, but then somehow I think that we miss, the sentiment that makes us move into that direction, and art can be a very strong influence. The idea, in fact, is just to put together a number of leaders, I mean, indigenous communities or politicians with like change proposal, but also activists and celebrities somehow, but also green architects and photographers and musicians, environmentalists, but also entrepreneurs. So to put together all the different relevant stakeholders from throughout the society, and just pulling them together for the same cause and the same mission. When I thought about the Earth platform, I immediately, what came up to mind was immediately boys in his expanded concept, for which art is connected with men and creativity to science, and he's talking about the third path connecting between the privileged transition, nature, and overcoming the conflicts, both at local and global level. And in fact, it's just boys stimulates through creativity. Throughout the years, especially over the first years of the Earth platform, we have been developing and carried out a number of events and activities, and one of them we have done them during the Climate Week, was 2 years ago, I think, with a major artist who is a Greek artist, in fact, Miltos Manetas, who is currently in Colombia, but is coming to Europe. And Andreco, who is here with us in this panel, was part of this experiment. And why I like this experiment very much, because we just set the event over 1 week long, but in the nature, in a part of Lazio region, which is called Sabina. And we just invited a number of artists to come and visit us, involving the local community. Many of the people there heard about climate change, but they wouldn't really know what climate change would be. And through the events, through the artists, and through the activities that we're running every day involving them, there has been an impact, I would say. So I think that I would stop here because a lot has been said already, and I think that we're also running, out of time. But I wanted to just convey to you that the major, the key messages that would be around. I wouldn't say necessarily all, and it's not around the Earth platform, because the Earth platform was just an idea that then involved a number of professionals, artists around. But and I think it's any kind of a platform, that all the work that each of you are just carrying out. The idea is just to have a common cause, a common mission, but to find the right way to make it move. And I really do believe that art is the way, in fact. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much, Stefania, and thank you also for giving us the possibility to give the floor to the next speaker, that is Andrea, Andreco in art, Andrea Conte, that is for Climate Art project. Thank you, Andrea, for joining, and I'll give you the floor, also in continuity. the Stefania's talk, and very glad to have you here. Andrea is a very famous artist in the climate movement, and so the floor to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Domenico, and thank you, Stefania, for mentioning me. And good evening, everyone. I will shortly speak about my ClimateArt project, and I'll share the screen. And yeah, this one. Okay, yeah, since many years I'm working on art and environment, let's say. And at one point I decided to, can you see the screen? My presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, at one point I decided to merge my two passions, or maybe three passions, that was like art, environment, and science, in one project. It's called ClimateArt project, that now is also a cultural association. This was 2015 during the COP21 in Paris, during the Paris Agreement, actually. At that time, I had a commission to do a public artwork related to climate change, and I decided to make an artwork that is also science related and related also to climate action. And this is now the project is developed and is very fast, and now we are a group of persons that usually the project is itinerant, so move in different areas affected by climate change or in different cities, for push the debate on climate change and possible climate action through contemporary art. And so we build a multidisciplinary network, try to involve the communities, but also institution, cultural institution, a scientific institution like center of research, universities, and we do a multidisciplinary research. And we do also some participatory process like public data sampling. We ask the people to become a scientist, so it's in a perspective of citizen science perspective, and to collect environmental data like water analysis data or soil data. And with this, with this data, and also with the data that we learn from the scientific paper and lecture, like for example, IPCC report that everyone knows from the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change. And with all this information, we try to build artworks that for aspiring people to get to action on climate action. And we did also photo documentation, exhibition, and with all this material, the target is to make an environmental campaigning and make environmental artwork, environmental advocacy, and climate action. I will show you some image that they speak better than my presentation, like with the images. Like if you see, this is the first step of ClimateArt project. It was in Venice, and it was about the sea level rise, of course, because Venice is one of the most affected places related to sea level rise. And so yeah, at the bottom of the wall, there was the 2017, there was when we did this wall painting during the Art Biennale. And in the second line is 240. See, this wall painting want to show the forecast of the average of sea level rise on the bottom part, based on scientific paper. We didn't use the maximum data, but just the average, because the average was already very scared. Because you can see that in 2080 we have already more than 1 meter of water in terms of sea level rise. On the top of the wall painting, I'm tracing the extreme waves that also was some part of the wall painting. So the wall painting was a big data visualization. It's there in Venice and is the first wall painting ever authorized on the Grand Canal of Venice at the train station. This is an operation for make a pointing operation for address the problem, but we want to also speak about the possible solution, and so we made this big sculpture that with a small garden. And in this garden there are local plants that protect Venice from the sea, and these are, in a nature-based solution perspective, are a solution and a climate action for mitigation, for the mitigation and adaptation of climate change. So, and this is the sculpture that we made in 2017. Of course, this project have also a lot of dissemination part, and this is one seminar that we did for an European project. Actually, it was an Erasmus Plus project. I'll show you another example. This is was in Delhi. After we decided to move to Delhi, because in 2018 Delhi won this very dark prize that was the most polluted city in the world because for air pollution. And so I decided to talk about air pollution in Delhi and to put the data related to air pollution worldwide. So the famous greenhouse gases emission chart, but also the data related to the city of Delhi, related to dust and air pollution. From this data, and this was the left part of the wall, on the right part of the wall, we want to speak about the possible the future, so the needs of decarbonization. And so there are the chart of the future decarbonization process and to the until the net zero CO2 for 2030. And of course, with the decarbonization, there will be also a mitigation of temperature rise in the future. So optimistic future. And in the middle of the wall, a tree, because the tree, again, the plants can help us in this process of transition. And so the tree was part of the wall painting. In Delhi, we did also a performance of reclaiming air and water, and this was like another art piece, like our collective performance in the public space that we do for involve people in climate action, in reclaiming the needs of an healthy environment. Another project that is also part of ClimateArt project is called Flumen, and it's about rivers, and it's also a project related to how the river sustainability in city. We think that rivers are important driver for sustainability in cities, and so to clean the rivers is fundamental for have an healthy city and healthy environment and for a healthy society. And so in this project, we do data sampling, as was mentioned before. So we collect water, we do water analysis, and we use also plant as a bioindicator for water quality. And we do this collectively in collaboration with a lot of partners, the university, the Agency for the Environment, and also museums. Because after we collect this data, we do analysis. We do also analysis about the plants, several plants that are in rivers, and we find data and information about the environment. And from this data, we build an environmental campaigning for reclaiming a clean river in Rome, in this case, because these rivers are the Aniene and Tevere river, the first rivers that we analyzed that are in Rome. And after we also build the exhibition related to possible solution for treat the water of the river and the soil, so with plants, so ready to nature-based solution again. And so, and after these those exhibition, we used the plants of the exhibition for make some pilot experiment for see how the plants can treat the polluted soil and the water. And so in these years, we plant many trees and different plants, and we may make different experiments for try to make a radical action, and so also something very pragmatic. So to plant trees and see in the years, like monitoring those trees in the years, to first see the environmental impact of this plantation. So we are with the Center of National Research, we are studying the benefit of those plantations near the rivers. And we did this with a performance, with a collective performance. So, after we show you a video of this, and for closing. And we have another output that are also like scientific paper. So it is important for us to break the boundaries between the disciplines and to make papers that talk from science and art together. This is a paper that speak how art can be a driver for science. And of course, this project on rivers, I did it in many occasions. This is another performance on the river Tiber, and this is another wall painting on rivers, and this is another wall painting on the rivers Arno. So if I have a commission, I try to speak about environmental issues to the wide public with the wall paintings or with the performance, or also with scientific research as the paper that I showed you before. Thank you. I make it very short because it's a little bit late, but I want to show you this very short video that, let me see if I can share the video as well. That is here, yes. That show like one action that we did collectively on the river Aniene, Rome. Okay. Okay, and
Super.
yeah, this
It was
is
wonderful.
and yes, and now we are in next month, in 1 month, we are doing another of this project that is called Aula Verde, Green Classroom. It's called like that because it's an art piece, it's a land art project, but it's also a place for environmental education, outdoor environmental education actually, because it's a circle of two circle of trees that want to make an outdoor classroom, and so this is the idea, and we are going to have another action at the end of in November, actually in Rome. So keep in touch on my website, ClimateArt project, or Instagram of Andreco. I will keep you updated for this action because we want to plant more trees. And we want to get people involved in planting trees and make action real for climate change and climate justice.
Thank you very much, Andrea, and please keep updates on the further initiative. And also, if you have the YouTube link on of this video, we can add to our playlist in the Climate Social Forum YouTube channel. We will be very glad to promote the initiative, and also for the other speakers is the same open possibility. So thank you.
Sure.
And also, I invite you to join the Discord channel that we created. We called the Open Agora of Climate Social Forum. So you can join there, chat with the other members, and discuss with the participants directly. Also share your information in the Open Agora.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you to you. I don't know if there are like questions. I know that's a bit late, and we run a little bit late, but if there are some questions from Irene or Anna, I don't know. Okay, if not, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for all the speakers of the session of today. So just remember that we are continuing tomorrow and since Saturday with the talks and tables and a session on the 6 Ps model that we saw today with Paola Fiore. So you are all kindly invited to follow up and join the Climate Social Forum. Thank you very much, and see you on the next chance on these channels. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
Thank you, Domenico. See you tomorrow.
Ciao. Thank you.